Hello, hello, hello. Check, check.
Hello, check, check. Hello, check, check. Hello,
Education is to make
hello,
us
check.
aware and tolerant. On this note, I heartily welcome one and all on this special occasion. It's my pleasure to anchor for
Yes,
this
sir.
event,
That one.
where we all observe the days.
Good afternoon. On account of World Cancer Day, we are here today to have a guest talk on behalf of the same occasion. We have Mr. Rajarajan, Department of from Department of Biotechnology. Sir has a vast career. He is a principal investigator of UGC, Ministry of Human Resource Development, Government of India funded research project. Internal supervisor, industry academia based consultancy project with Grindwell Norton Limited, which is a subsidiary of Saint Gobain Limited, in developing antibacterial scrub pads. Supervisor, student project funded by Karnataka State Council for Science and Technology. Sir is Deputy Chief Superintendent for Bangalore University exams for 10 years in a row. Former member, Internal Quality Assurance Cell, Indian Academy Degree College Autonomous. Recognized guide and research supervisor and external examiner for Bharatidasan University for MPhil research scholars in both biotechnology and microbiology. Member Board of Studies for MSc Microbiology for CMR Institute of Management Studies Autonomous Bangalore. Member Board of Examiners BOE for BSc and MSc Microbiology at Garden City University Bangalore, Dayanand Sagar University Bangalore, Mount Carmel College Bangalore and Christu Jayanti College. Custodian undergraduate degree autonomous exams for life sciences and non-core subjects. Sir is also has submitted his PhD synopsis in biotechnology and cancer biology from Bhartiyar University, Coimbatore. Sir has also vast experience in research publication and sir has published around 17 papers till date. So we welcome you, sir. Can we have a round of applause? And we will be presiding with a talk for this, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Slide.
At the outset, my sincere thanks goes to Professor Akshay and the entire team of IASMS for giving me this opportunity. I always love to talk to students, particularly on this particular topic, because I have a lot of sentiment. But at the same time, I will be much satisfied if even a little amount of this, I mean, the knowledge sharing, what is going to happen in the next 1 hour to 90 minutes max, if it is going to, I mean, any one of you imbibe it and if it is going to really change your life, I will be the happiest person. Well, let me start my talk. We all know that cancer is one of the dreadful, feared diseases and all that. I mean, it's a quite a very prevalent and a common topic which is talked about today. Apart from the present situation about, say, COVID-19, presently the Omicron or whatever, okay? And apart from this, time and again we are able to come across some disease cropping up like this and totally devastating the whole human life and the ecosystem also. But it is this disease, it is this cancer which has been playing a very, very important role, playing a mainstay, almost, if I have to say, for about more than 6 to 7 decades continuously, right? We are much fearing about COVID-19 or Omicron or Deltacron presently or whatsoever. Earlier the swine flu and all that. But this particular disease has killed more people than any other disease in this world so far. That is the fact. That is a hard fact. So, my talk today will not focus on how cancer is happening, what is the basics behind it, right? I will not go into much of the biology or mechanism of the cancer at all, right? Because my talk today will revolve only around, like, I'm trying to give you and create a kind of awareness that where we come across, we intercept with a lot of things in a day-to-day life. So my talk will totally revolve only around it. And how can we prevent ourselves from becoming a victim of cancer, right? How can I myself make, prevent from becoming a victim of cancer, or how can make my own dear ones and near ones, keeping them away from this cancer. Okay, so this is what my talk is totally going to revolve around. Okay, I will not go into the basics of biology and mechanisms, nothing there. All right. So effectively, I feel this 90 minutes sometimes can be an eye-opener for many of you. You might be surprised to see a lot of things and hear a lot of things from me that way. Right? Happy 90 minutes. Let us start it now. Right. So remember, cancer cannot be fought single-handedly, right? Because as I already told you, if you take the statistics, the science clearly states, the statistics clearly tells us that in the past 70 to 80 years, we have never won a war against cancer. We were not able to control this disease at all. We were able to control every other disease. We were able to find a clear solution for many, but not at all for this. All right? Why? Because this is a disease which has got a very, very deep-rooted branching. Right? In simple words, I have to say, there are roughly around 230 types of cancer. All that we know is cancer is a disease. Right? But mind you, let me tell to your surprise, there are more than 230 types of cancer. We never know who, what, where a person will start suffering from any one of these types of cancer are. So it is only together we can make a difference. When we want to live, when we ourselves want to live, or when we want our next generation to live in a cancer-free society, then our role in constructing that society is very, very, very vital. Okay? Anyways, now, in addition to finding cures to cancer, why? Let me tell you, in the past 1 decade, there is roughly several hundreds of billions of dollars which has been invested by various national governments like US, Indian government, you name them, they have invested billions and billions of US dollars. For what? For only towards research on cancer. Again, why did they invest that much? Is to find a cure. But what am I trying to tell you here is, cure is something when someone suffers from it, right? In the form of a remedy, we try to give them a cure. My clear point here is, there is a lot of a choice for us to keep this disease away from us at the first place, right? So the choice is us. Purely the choice is us, right? So by following many of these, what you're going to see, what you're going to hear from me, there is certainly a greater opportunity, greater possibility that we can keep this disease away from our family itself forever, right? Then think about if someone gets it, curing and all that, all right? So it is always better to eliminate the known causes of cancer and to prevent it before it starts. This is why always we talk about one particular thing, you know, which is we always say prevention is better than cure. But the very meaning of these 3 sentences are never understood better, right? But in case of cancer, it is 100% a reality. 100%, more than 100%, it is a reality, right? Let us go further. So if you take here, this graph, this pie chart gives you the breakup of Indian cancer prevalence scenario, the present scenario, which is shared by the World Health Organization. Okay, so here you are able to see a very big substantial percentage of lung cancer among the Indian population, right? A very big number. 78% is a very alarming number, right? Then apart from that, you are able to see here and there, there is quite a lot of different types of cancers. You are able to see here, here and all that, right? But anyways, I am not going to focus only on lung cancer, right? I am not in fact going to focus on any particular type of cancer also today, right? In general, how to keep ourselves safe from what we are surrounded by is the very objective, the key point, drive-away point of my talk today. All right? See, this is the forecast of Indian Cancer Research Society, right? And if you see here, this is where 2020 is there. And you see this green bar has ever risen. It has never fallen anywhere, right? But thankfully, because of billions of dollars being poured into the cancer research, in the last 3 years, if you see, global percentage of people who die from cancer has dropped, thankfully, by 2.4% globally. But when you look at the very geographical indication of where all this 2.5% is scattered upon, India does not make a big difference there. Our population does not make a big difference there, right? So let us see how. Why? See, when globally 2.5% slowdown or 2.4% of reduction in the death rate is there, why is it Indians have not contributed to that 2.4%? Let's see. All right. See here, you are able to see, but different stats. Well, am I audible to the last? Am I audible? Yeah. Yeah. So here you are able to see some very rough figures, right? And on the right side, you are as well able to see what are the leading causes of cancer among men and women. And I'm telling you, this is a typical Indian scenario. Typical Indian scenario where what are the 10 top leading type of cancers in India, right? Among women and men. So among men, if you see, it is the lung cancer followed by liver cancer and the stomach cancer. Right? When it comes to among women, breast cancer, cervical cancer, and again stomach cancer. Okay. So this is the typical Indian scenario. In the right side, you are able to see what is the global scenario here and here, right? Among men and women, right? But if you see these numbers, they are really, you have to really be afraid of these numbers, right? That is the actual scenario. What, see, it is really going to be a rough weather for we Indians, right? When it comes to particularly this disease is concerned, whether we are going to sustain it or whether to overcome or whatever you take, it is really going to be a rough weather for us, all right? So that is my motto here. The clear motto is how to give a basic level of awareness to you guys so that you can go tell your relatives, you can go share these thoughts with your friends, right? How are we surrounded by things which causes cancer and how can we keep ourselves away from this, right? Even in any case, suppose, sir, only keeping ourselves away from these things will protect us? Maybe not. Internally, maybe not. So what should I do to internally strengthen myself to keep myself away from suffering from any one of these cancers, right? Change your lifestyle, change your food habits and all that. So this is basically what I'm going to talk about today, all right? Right, this is again another grim reality. So you see these years here, the gap between this is roughly 51 years. These are old statistics, but a much a reality, and this is the same reality which is continuing even today, right? See, when you look at the span, it is 51 years, right? And if you look into these graphs, right, this brown colored one represents the heart diseases. These two are heart diseases. You see, in 1950, the heart diseases was this much, whereas in 2001, it has reduced by 50%. But you see this green bar, not much has changed. In fact, it has only increased, right? And now presently, this scenario is very grim, okay, very bad, right? So what I am showing you this, I mean, because I like this particular graph, okay, so that is why I always include this in my presentations wherever I give this, right? So what is the point I am trying to make here is, if there is a war on cancer, we are not at all winning it. So far, we have not won it at all, right? So it is only by taking precautions that we can overcome this difficulty called cancer, right? So every year, new cancer patients, these many are registered. This is an approximate figure which I took from Indian Cancer Society, okay, registry. And cancer of oral cavity, lungs account for 25% of the cancer deaths. Similarly, one woman dies of cervical cancer every 8 minutes in India. This is a very alarming rate, right? See, let me repeat, 1 woman dies of cervical cancer every 8 minutes in India. Only because of one particular disease, right? Let me tell you, particularly for the girls who are here and who are listening to me through YouTube, right? It is my sincere advice that knowingly or unknowingly nature has given a boon to us for girls, okay? For cervical cancer there is a vaccine, please take them. Please take them, right? If you take them, you are safe. You are 100% safe, okay? Because this cervical cancer is basically caused because of a viral infection, HPV, right? And if you take these vaccines, right, you can definitely keep yourself away from this cancer. Anyways, now as many as 2,500 persons die every day due to tobacco related diseases in India, right? You might be wondering, sir is telling fearful, dreadful numbers, right? See, as a microbiologist, it is my equal responsibility to always not only tell you what is the grim situation, what we are undergoing, but at the same time give you some kind of remedy also, which I will be sharing with you guys at the end of my presentation. Okay. Now, you see, 70 to 80% of the cancers are detected only in the late stage, right? Remember, there is always a colloquial name with which cancer is being termed. It's called any idea, anyone? Generally, colloquially they call cancer as slow killer, right? You know why? Even the very person who is suffering from cancer will not know that he or she is suffering from cancer. That's the point. Okay, a silent killer. Cancer is a very, very slow and silent killer, right? So they might have a lung cancer, or they might have some other sarcoma, any type of cancer. They will not know in the initial stages. So what should you do? You should prevalently know what are the common set of symptoms of this cancer, so that if you are able to see that in any one of your near ones and dear ones or friends, immediately you have to alarm them. See, you are looking like that, please go check, get yourself checked. Why? Because always remember, early detection helps in complete cure of certain cancers. When it comes to cancer, broadly we classify it into 4 stages, right? Stage 1, stage 2, stage 3 and stage 4, right? Invariably it is very, very difficult to save people who have already gone to stage 4, and that is what it is, 70 to 80%. We are not able to save them, right? They will get, properly detected that he or she is suffering from so and so cancer. Nothing much could be done with the time left with them. Okay, because there are a lot of contributive factors. Maybe age can be a factor, right? Or their body conditions might be a factor, right? When you subject them to any kind of therapy, they cannot withstand. Even literally, if I have to say, the therapy itself can kill them. Because they are very, very strong therapies which these cancer patients will be subjected to. Okay, I'll come to that later. But you see, 50% are ignorant. Because it's a silent killer, 50% of them are ignorant, right? They don't know, right? Even if they know, they just keep silent. Like, right? That's the kind of thing they have, right? But what are the common symptoms of any cancer for that matter? If you see, these are the common symptoms. Unexplained changes in your body, okay? Sudden appearance of lumps in any part of the body. In any part of the body, if you are able to feel appearance of sudden lumps, that needs your attention, right? Then blood in urine, changes in bowel habits, right? Coughing, chest pain or breathlessness, unexplained bleeding, right? The frequency of development of appearance of moles. You might have never had a mole at all, but all of a sudden you can see lot of moles cropping like mushrooms. Again, that needs your attention, right? And finally, the last one, But that is a very, very important thing to be noted. Unexplained weight loss, because irrespective of he or she is suffering from any type of cancer, a very, very common symptom there is unexplained weight loss, right? But I told you, no, these 50% who are ignorant, they will be feeling, oh, I am losing weight. That will be the kind of apprehension they will be having. Okay, but finally at the end of the day, initially they will be very happy, but over few days, say 45 days into the disease, then they will start realizing they will just become a bundle of bones. Nothing will be there. Their bones will be just wrapped up around by skin. That is how they will become, right? So that will look so terrible. Let's see what is causing it, right? Let us see all those factors which we are surrounded by responsible for causing this so-called this. Okay, let me start with Sir Richard Doll, right? Because, why? Because he was, during his time, he was one of the leading epidemiologists who was decorated with all these awards. And what was one of his very important contributions is he proved that smoking causes lung cancer when? Roughly 70 years back. But do our young people stop smoking? No. Right? He has proved it very, very clearly through statistical data and analysis that lung cancer is, smoking is a very, very important but a direct attribute for someone to develop lung cancer, right? And this is the findings. You just give your focus only to those where there are red, you are able to see it is surrounded by red, right? See, pollution is only 2%. So any given person gets cancer because of pollution only by 2%, right? Occupational 2 to 4%, right? But you see, 30% is because of the use of tobacco and 35% is because of diet. So if you change your diet, you have a healthy diet, that means it is directly proportional in keeping this disease away, any form of cancer away. Alright, let us see how. And here also, right, one more citing where the Cancer Research UK says is cancer mortality resulting from the use of pesticides is less than only 0.1%, it is meager, right, of cancer mortality from all other sources. We think Coke has pesticide, all these cola drinks has pesticide, that has pesticide, this is that, this. We talk about these pesticides quite a lot, right? But you see, to what extent these pesticides actually contribute for the development of this disease is not even a single percent. It's just 0.1%. So there are a lot of other attributes why a person develops this disease, okay? And see, most of, let me continue from there, most of which are controllable by the individuals themselves in their own decisions. So this is what I am repeating again, right? Whether someone gets this disease or not, it is their choice. We have the choice, we have that rightful choice, right? But if we ignore that choice, the positive choice of what nature has given to us, then there is every possibility, right? All of us, any one of us, irrespective of the age, can get cancer. Got it? That is the reality. Right. So let us see what is happening. Just read this. What does that say? Genetics loads the gun and environment pulls the trigger. Did you understand what it is? This is a very, very famous saying in the people who do research on cancer circles, right? And genetics loads the gun and the environment pulls the trigger. What does that mean is, we all of us have this something called proto-oncogenes. This is inherited, all of us, If we are born as a mammal, if we are born as a human being, we will have this something called proto-oncogene, right? Now, the question is, when this proto-oncogene gets converted into oncogene, onco means cancer, gene, you all know the meaning, okay? A gene which can cause cancer is oncogene, right? So, the only thing we have to understand here is this proto-oncogene getting converted into oncogene, right? So, that is where this environment plays the role. Right? All of us have these proto-oncogenes because it is inherited by every single individual from their parents, right? The question is whether do we allow this proto-oncogene to get activated and get converted into a oncogene or not. How, why, when, this is the question, right? So, don't you think we can as well, till we breathe our last, we can as well keep these proto-oncogenes silent, am I right? We have a choice, we have a choice, right? We can keep this gene silent as long as we are going to keep these set of, this is a family of genes, okay? These genes silent, then definitely he or she will not develop any type of cancer, and we are just going to see how. When we have a choice, how can we exercise this choice rightfully, right? But to start with, the first problem we have, right, where these proto-oncogenes can be converted into oncogenes is viral infections. There are many viral infections starting from HIV, HSV, that is herpes simplex virus. Just now I told you about papilloma virus, human papilloma virus, human simplex virus, human hepatitis B, hepatitis C, all these viruses are grouped together in microbiology or in virology as oncogenic viruses. So, if a person suffers a significant infection because because of any one of these viral infections, post that viral infection, what will that virus do is it will convert these proto-oncogenes into oncogenes. So, 3 out of 10 who suffer from a viral infection of these viruses which I mentioned just now can develop cancer. Got it? So, it is always, you have to be mindful that even if you suffer from a protozoal infection or a bacterial infection, it's good rather than suffering from a viral infection, right? This is a very, very latest addition to the whole big problem which already we have. What is that? How COVID-19 impacts the lungs, so that there is quite a lot of increase in the incidence of people who develop lung cancer. So, we think the COVID infection comes, goes away, right? We are safe, we test negative and all that. Actually speaking, right, when someone tests positive, that means there should be at least a minimal amount of lung damage which will happen in them. Without damaging lungs, they cannot recover, right? It can be at least 5%, at least 3%, but there will be 3% of your lungs at least which will sustain some amount of damage, without which you will not recover. Mind, okay? So, when there is, when this lung damage is inevitable, which you cannot stop, then the susceptibility of suffering from the respective type of cancer also increases. That is what these two publications shows us. Okay? So, this is collateral effects of corona disease 2019 pandemic on lung cancer diagnosis in Korea. Okay? Don't think it is only for Koreans. This is very much possible because Indians have bad food habits compared to Koreans. We have to accept this fact. We have to accept this fact. We have one of the worst food habits, though our ancestors have given the best food habits. There are no better food habits than what we Indians were given by our ancestors. ಏನಾಯ್ತು? Okay, so that this is one, viruses are a contributor. Second one, synthetic chemicals, right? DDT you all know, but let me tell you, right? This was a revelation which was done in the 60s, right? Before this her research, right? There was absolutely no knowledge that chemicals can cause cancer. It was only after it was only after her research that we were able to come across that chemicals are also a very important contributing factor for development of cancer. Okay, so that is when she went ahead and told, she actually she warned many governments related to this, but her findings, research findings, were very much ignored. All right, that is when she wrote a book called Silent Spring, right, which actually during this time which sold like Harry Potter series those days. Okay, but sadly even she herself lost her battle against breast cancer. Okay, but before she passed away, she made some of the important revelations. What is that? For the first time in the history of the world, every human being is now subjected to contact with dangerous chemicals. From when? From the moment of conception till death, right? And she was right. I will show you a couple of research which was carried out in the neonates, to be born, they are not still born, to be born. Okay, how chemicals have penetrated in them, right? So after her this thing, it is roughly about 58 years after she has done all this, but still we'll use lot of things which can cause cancer in our households. There are lot of green alternatives to them, but we ignore. Why? Green alternatives work slowly, we don't have time, right? Because we want to use that extra bit of time, we want to convert that into our screen time, right? That's the biggest problem with the present generation, right? Anyways, if you see, right, normally the feeling is, I feel safe when I go home. Am I right? But the hard fact is, every household has roughly about 62 toxic chemicals which can cause cancer on an average, in different things we use. Right? Let's see what are they in simple. It can be a shampoo, it can be a soap, it can be something which you use to wash, right? Cleaners, you name it, it is there. It is there, right? We think I am using the best shampoo, right? Who knows? It is very much possible that a cancer causing substance is very much there. Okay, that is the reason why, if you see, when you people were small children, right, say about 15 years back, right, you must have used all normal shampoos, but nowadays you see the concept has totally changed, right? Everything is natural, 100% natural, 100% natural, 100% natural, correct? It has become a talking concept. The reason is this, right? But we are still being cheated. Let me tell you how, right? You all know about this volatile organic compounds, right? They are very importantly present in the paints, pharmaceuticals and the refrigerants, right? See, when they paint, we are able to get one peculiar smell, you know, right? Peculiar smell, that is the smell of VOCs. So when this VOC goes in, right, enormously, where you continue to breathe this VOC day in, day out, what happens? Your lungs becomes easily susceptible to any of the carcinogen. So there is every possibility, 30 to 40% increased possibility that that person can suffer from a lung cancer. All right. So presently if you see, these VOCs are there in all these products, cleaners, disinfectants, moth repellents, air fresheners, fuels, automotive products, okay. What all? Wood preservatives, aerosol sprays, wallpaper removers, glues, stains, it is there in everything, right. And day in day out we breathe this, right. That is why nowadays you get paints, they are a bit costly, but we get paints which are 100% free from VOC. And when they use those paints, you know, you will not have this irritational feeling. You will, because there is no, literally no VOC, so there won't be any kind of irritation, right. So how do we make a difference? First thing we have to do is, we have to educate ourselves. After we educate ourselves, we should always think, see for ourselves, what I have understood is right or wrong, right. And maybe these are all the simplest things, changes we can bring about, right. I do not want anything to be used which is made up of PVC, right. I will use only normal forms of pest control, okay, non-toxic or less toxic cleaning products, right, like this. So these are all some minimal changes you can bring in your own family, right, which can make a very, very big difference, right. Because rightfully I will repeat this sentence again, prevention is better than cure. This is 200% a reality in case of any cancer, right. When we have a choice to prevent, when we have a rightful choice to prevent, we should do every bit of that to prevent the disease. Otherwise, there is 100% certain possibility that anyone, he or she might succumb to the disease, okay. This is what I was talking about. So this was a research which was conducted in 2004 among the to be borns, yet to be borns. They are still inside the womb of the mother, right. And from their umbilical cord blood of 10 newborn babies, they were able to detect 287 chemicals, okay, which started bioaccumulating itself through the mother. What will you say, right? Most of this are science, real science with evidence, right? And they were able to find out all these are those number of chemicals, right? And those which you are able to see with the star, right, they are linked to causing cancer, right? Well, this is a very, very important thing, because this is something which we use day in, day out, all of us, right, irrespective of the age, right. Why? Because how many of us know that the plastic wares what we use can, I mean that chemical with which that plastic ware is made up of can leach into, it can just seep into, say you are storing a water, it can just seep into the water and we drink that water, right, which means we are literally drinking a chemically contaminated water, clear, right. So that is why these things are important, these numbers are important, right. See, whenever you take a bottle, you will either see this number at the bottom of the bottle or inside the cap of the bottle, right. So you just open and see for yourself before you purchase that plastic product, provided if you are going to use that plastic product for drink, I mean you are going to store something, you are going to use it for drinking purposes or put it in the fridge or freezer or anything, right, because everything has its own implications. So it is always better you look for what number is mentioned there. You will find a triangle, right, and a number within that triangle, like the same way how it is, what you are able to see here. So these numbers are nothing but the resin codes which are used, I mean the very compositional chemical substances which are with which that plastic is made up of, right. And remember, never heat your food in plastic, with plastic. It can be you are trying to use it in a microwave oven, you are heating it or whatever, right. It will, at the end of the day I tell you, plastic is a plastic, it has got its own ill effects, and you consume anything, heating it or freezing it in plastics, right, it will have its own toll in the on the body, right. So, do not reuse PET bottles marked number 1. You know what is this? Where do you find this number 1 among the bottles? Most of the water bottles, right. At least the company has some minimum responsibility to say that crush the bottle after use. But what do? We use the same bottle for 6 months. We do it, right? Right? See, it is not only indicative that this is the resin code, right? It is also indicative that that bottle should be used only once, maybe twice or thrice at the max, right? But beyond that you use, what happens is every time you put water into it, that chemical goes into it. Chemical will leach, right? That PET, right? Chemical will start leaching into whatever you are storing inside that bottle, right? Those labeled 2, 4 and 5, remember these numbers, 2, 4 and 5 generally are considered to be safe. That is, they generally say food grade plastics, no? That is not, that's a humbug. There is nothing called a food grade plastic. That's why I say plastic is a plastic at the end of the day, right? It has got its own all sort of ill effects, right? So, you want to go buy some biryani or you want to buy some kushka or chicken or whatever, right? They get it packed in a plastic bowl, right? They say it's white colored one or black colored one usually, right? They say it is a food grade one. Most probably it belongs to either 2, 4 or 5, right? But either ways I tell you, whether they are made up of any composition out of this 7, right? All of them can leach that chemical into the food, irrespective of what they are made up of. But what is more very dangerous is if the material composition is, the number indicative is 3, 6 and 7, never touch it, never use it for drinking or anything which you are going to put it inside your body, never use it. Don't use it even on your skin is my advice, is my suggestion. Forget, I am not going to drink it, sir, right? Don't even expose that chemical to your skin will be my advice, right? They are so dangerous enough that it can lead you to some sort of skin cancer also on a long run, okay? And never freeze your food in a plastic, never put it in a, because now that is why nowadays we have a lot of alternatives. We have ceramic wares, right? We have glass, borosilicate glass, right? Even tiffin boxes we get in borosilicate glasses nowadays. Use them, or metal, stainless steel or copper, right? Use them, they are best alternatives, right? And there is something called melamine, you all know, plates, usually the plastic plates what we use, right? Not the typical plastic plates, like little harder and thicker plastic plates, they are called melamine, right? Melamine also, it's for quite some time, for quite some decades, it is an argument that melamine will not cause cancer. No, that's a rubbish, right? Even melamine is a type of a plastic. That is what we have to clearly understand, right? So, if it is a plastic, it has its own ability to go inside our system and get accumulated over day by day, day by day, day by day. So, these chemicals have got ability to use a particular term called bioaccumulation. That is very much possible by most of these, right? And the concentration of these substances increases day by day. What happens? Then starts the whole story, rather the sad story, right? Okay. Why? Because most of them have this called Bisphenol A, right? And the, what do you call these plastic wares which I have put here, all are what? To be used for whom? See carefully. Kids, alright? So if it is very colorful, thick and all that, we think, oh, this is a good quality plastic. No, that is how we are being cheated. Right? They are just made colorful to attract us. That's all. But the very composition what we will be putting into our sisters and brothers or even ourselves, same thing. The effect is going, the implication is going to be the same. Right? So, what normally happens is this bisphenol A can have even a third generation effect. What does that mean? You have the habit of continuously using this, okay, this plasticware. Slowly what will happen, this bisphenol A will start getting accumulated into your system, right? And this can be passed on to your next generation and from them to the next generation. That's what is the meaning. It can go, this bisphenol A can go even, it can percolate up to 3 generations is what the research says nowadays, right? So stop using plastics. This should be one of the very, very important drive-away point of today's talk, right? Maybe unknowingly you might be using, you must be using the plastics all these days, okay? But after knowing, don't do that mistake, right? Start using metal or glass or ceramic wares wherever it is possible, right? This is a very, very common sight. At the end of every road, this is a very, very common sight. Burning of plastics. But you're surprised, I tell you, right? Plastics are supposed to be burnt only above 400 degrees centigrade. The process is called incineration. And if you burn plastics less than 400 degrees, they will immediately start releasing this kind of smoke, right? Don't think it's just another smoke, right? It has got a very, very, very toxic composition called dioxins, right? You might think, sir, it is just a smoke. No, sir. I will tell you a simple example. You all know, you all remember the incident of what happened in Bhopal. So, it was just a gas leak. It spoiled generations after generations. Okay, lot of deformities, right, externally and internally. So, what is the only wrongful thing that they did is they inhaled that gas, right? This dioxin is roughly 100 times worse than that gas, I tell you. Not only that, dioxins can travel thousands of kilometers undiluted. They can cause such a remarkable damage to human body, right? So, it is my sincere request to all of you, wherever you see this, try to put off this fire, or wherever, whenever you see someone trying to burn plastics, prevent them, right? It is for your own good, your own good sake, right? Right? Being so, like, if at all any food product available, or at least most of the food products available in the market, right? If they have to be named honestly, this is how they have to be named. Like what? Acrylamide chips, heart disease causing spreads, right? This is how they have to be, like, honestly named, because every other thing we eat has something like this, right? Yeah, colon cancer dogs means they are talking about hot dogs, colon cancer dogs, right? So every other thing has some. So how many of you have the habit of looking into what is the composition? No, you have. Okay. See, normally I tell you, they will not mention the name. Instead, they will always mention E320, E20, E100, E20. This is what you will see, am I right? In most of the food products, the colors, the additives, the acidity regulators, homogenizers, this, that, what all they add, right? And this is what is most of those which even a small kid has these days in India. There are no restrictions for this. All right. And this is going to have a big impact in the future generation. If we don't realize that what we are doing is a mistake now, right, even we ourselves will feel it will be a very regrettable time for us, right. So apart from what we have seen so far, there are few other factors also. What are they? Radiations. Right from, there are many radiations, right. I will give my focus only to couple of radiations here, right. What is this, you all know? What is this? CT scan, MRI scan, okay. But remember, if someone undergoes a CT scan once, that is equal to exposing themselves to very strong radiations 200 times. Right? You will never ever go next time near this, right? What I am telling you is a reality. Once you are put in the grid there, right, for a CT scan, that means you are exposed to a radiation equivalent to 200 times. Right? That is why nowadays it has become a practice that unless and unless required, no one is recommended for a CT scan or MRI. But earlier and all, you see, whether they give you a tablet or not, scan madko, scan madu, test madu, adu madu, idu madu anta, right? They do. But nowadays, people have become more conscious. They started questioning them, right? When you are prescribed with something, you ask them why. Why should I undergo this test? Right? That's your right. Yes or no? That's your right. Right? You can always ask them, whomsoever prescribes that for you, it's your right to ask. Why should I subject myself to so and so thing? It's your right. Ask them. Okay? Electromagnetic radiations. What is this, sir? See, when you just walk down, you are able to see huge posts like this carrying heavy megawatts of this thing, right? Stay close by, you can listen to kind of a sound, right? So that is what is the movement of electrons. So when movement, see, basic science, 10th standard science I am telling you, right? You all must have studied about left hand thumb rule and right hand thumb rule, whether you are MBA students or commerce student or science student. This is 10th standard science I am talking, right? So when electrons move in one direction, perpendicular to that, there is always electromagnetic radiations. Simple science, right? So when we stand just under this, that means we are exposing ourselves to very high level of radiation, very high, alarmingly high level of radiations. That is why nowadays Government of India, you know, couple of years back there was a lot of talk about this, and it went to the media, it went to the Supreme Court, then finally Supreme Court told that only this much frequency should be maintained even for a telecom operator. Yes, right? The reason was that. Okay, I am coming to that next. You know what is this you are seeing here? What you are seeing here is the skull, and this is the nose. What you are seeing here is the nose, okay? So this is the skull. Now this is the skull of first one, left side, is that of a 5-year-old, this is that of a 10-year-old, and this is that of an adult, right? Say in the same position, if someone is using, a 5-year-old is using a mobile phone, a 10-year-old is using a mobile phone in the left side, right? And an adult is using the mobile phone, same mobile phone, right? You see the extent of radiation. This white color is nothing but the radiation, penetration of radiation inside the skull, right? And that is why nowadays you are able to come across lot of sale in Amazon and Flipkart for what? Headphones, use them. Happily get that and use them, right? That is one way how you can keep these radiations away from your brain, because this will cause remarkable damage, I tell you.
This can clog your arteries inside your brain after some time, and that can give lot of scope for tumors to develop, brain tumors to develop, right? You see, almost 80% of the skull is covered, am I right? In case of a 5-year-old, and that of adult, if you see, 15 to 18% is covered, and constantly, right? Because already Abhishek Bachchan has told us what? Walk and talk. No, walk and talk. So whenever you are talking on a mobile phone, walk. That's a kind of exercise is what he has told us. We follow that religiously, right? And always keep the phone here. But let me go to this. There is something wrong in this picture. Can anyone identify what is wrong in this picture? Huh? Old phone, huh? Yeah, it is an old phone, but apart from being an old phone, there is something else is wrong. Something else is wrong in this. Huh? Speaker is not visible. Huh? The way the phone is being handled, is wrong, right? Because you see, 15-20 years back we have been using mobile phones with a small antenna. Now those antennas are gone. Where did the antennas go? They have gone inside the mobile phone. Okay, but where are they inside the mobile phone? They are here, always here in this place, top position. So whenever you put your fingers there, what will happen? That transponder will start pulling more radiation to give you a clarity of speech, to give a good clarity in reception of the phone. It will start pulling more radiation. What will happen when more radiation comes towards you? There will be penetration of more radiation into your skull, right? So the way you handle your phone is also important if we are not using a headphone device, okay? That is always better to use. The most important for the present generation, okay? Why? Let me tell you only a simple fact, right? 32 to 37 harmful chemicals can still be detected in the blood or in the plasma of a person after he or she has quit smoking. How long? After 1 year. After 1 year followed by quitting smoking, right? These harmful chemicals can be detected in their blood plasma even after a year, right? And imagine if people are right, using, yeah, like matchsticks they use, right? And of course these are the different chemicals which are present, right? This is one of my favorites, right? I'll tell, I mean not the person, slide, right? The slide is one of my favorites, right? See, when we were like you, right? When we were small children, what you see, okay, this Wayne, right? Wayne McLaren is one of a very, very famous Hollywood figure during the 70s and 80s. One of the very, very familiar faces of the Hollywood. Okay, but rather than being a Hollywood figure, he was known otherwise better throughout the world as what? Marlboro Man. When you say Marlboro Man, it is McLaren. That is how he was looked into, right? But you see, what was his age when he died? 51. And he died of what? Lung cancer. So this picture was taken just 15-20 days before he passed away, right? So this is what smoking can do to you, because eventually this is what the statistics says, right? Every year 7.5 million people die because of only smoking, and that too developing either TB related diseases or cancer. Right? Pollution, right? And you see where are we? New York is how much? 16. Okay, good. Los Angeles 20. Calcutta, and how much is Bangalore? Worst of the all. This is an average. This is an average, and this average came down drastically during the lockdowns. It became just 1/5 of this, where the permissible limit is 20, and where are we? 10 times more. Okay. See, normally you drive a bike or a car, you come to your class, right? Come to the college. Let me tell you a very, very simple thing, but which can make a big difference for you and others also, right? Imagine there are 3 signals in between, right? Each signal is 1 minute, 60 seconds. Irrespective of how many seconds it is, we have to only always, we keep doing this, right? I don't do this. Honestly, I don't do this. Okay, many of them, the present generation love to do that, right? To little show off. Okay. Now, 3 minutes, 3 signals, 3 minutes, 180 seconds, right? When you go back also, let's put it the same way, again another 3 minutes. So, 6 minutes in a day. 6 minutes in a day, right? In a month? In a month? 180 minutes. 180 minutes you are keeping your bike on for nothing. For nothing. Right? This is for a month, and imagine for a year. So, how much petrol you are wasting? How much energy you are wasting? Right? So, you can as well keep your vehicle off. Okay, most of the vehicles are battery driven nowadays. I mean, at least to start we use battery. Okay, like it is not like kick start like earlier, button start, right? So whenever you want, you can start them. Think about it, right? It's a very simple thing, but it can mark a remarkable difference when it comes to pollution, right? Okay, let me try to give a picture of, we have seen many things, no? Let us try to see, have a sum up of all this, huh? Okay, right. We'll see what all causes cancer. Number 1, personal and dietary factors. Number 2, food. Number 3, workplace exposure. Number 4, radiations. Number 5, air pollution. Number 6, water pollution. Number 7, toxic products. Number 8, natural carcinogens. Number 9, infectious diseases. Number 10, reduced level of immunity. Number 11, endocrine disruptors. Number 12, exposure to toxic substances. Number 13, all other, deficiency of these factors. Number 14, right? Tell me, is it really a wonder or not that someone will not suffer from cancer? When we are surrounded by these many things, right, which can cause cancer in a person, right? Is it really a wonder if someone will not suffer from it, right? So the best choice you have to make today is, I will keep myself away from at least most of these things, if not everything, right? So let's see what are the solutions for this. Cleanliness, less pollution, that should be our first priority always, right? You all know them. Who are they? The first one is my favorite, Irfan Khan. The second one, Esther. Okay, when I was a small boy, he was again still my favorite, Rishi Kapoor, right? And the third one, Chadwick Boseman. You all know him as Mr. Panther, Black Panther, in Avengers. He's one of the Avengers, right? But all the 3 died because of what? Cancer. Didn't they have money? Did they have popularity? Someone can come and save them? That's the destiny. So, we can always, what I am trying to tell you here is we can always change our destiny. It is properly within our hands that we can make a very, very clear choice. Latest addition to the list is whom? Sunil Dutt. Sorry, Sanjay Dutt. Got it? Recently he was diagnosed of lung cancer because he is a active smoker. Right? And this is how painfully people who, and these 4 all recovered from cancer. Right? You know who the first one is? Second one? Tahira Kashyap. Third one? Monisha Kairala. Fourth one? Yuvraj Singh. He suffered from lung cancer. Right? Thankfully all 4 of them have recovered. But look at all of them. All 4 are wearing specs. Young, wearing specs, and all are bald, right? You know why? It is not that they have voluntarily shaved, right? There are no hairs. Because all 4 underwent significant levels of chemotherapy and radiation therapy. So, as a result of the side effect, right? They will, you can see in this case, in case of Yuvraj Singh and Sonali Bindre, you can actually see even the eyebrows are gone. That will be the kind of side effect when someone is subjected to chemotherapy. Very, very painful, right? Very painful. Very painful experience. So, instead of undergoing all this painful experience, we can actually make a clear choice like this. As what? Reducing unnecessary risk and the process helping preserve the planet and also reducing our exposure to different substances. Whenever, this is again one of my favorite slides. Whenever I put this slide, no, everyone starts, particularly girls, they start laughing. But it's a reality. It is a reality. Right? See, nowadays, you see most of the cosmetic products, including shampoos, clearly it will be mentioned free of parabens. You have seen that? Because it is one of a very, very important carcinogen, considered to be a class B carcinogen nowadays, right? So, make a good choice. There are a lot of natural options in this. Okay, that can be my utmost suggestion, right? Otherwise, say no to alcohol. By saying no to alcohol, we can as well say no to cancer risk. Okay? Saying no to smoking, saying no also to fat. This is the most biggest problem these days. Eating junk food, lot of junk, okay? Habituated, right? Because if whether you want to go, your mother, grandma might be preparing the most delicious thing, but that is the kind of expression we give them. You want to go to McDonald's or you want to go to KFC kind of thing, right? But the result will be this, right? I will tell you, the person might be thin. The person might be thin, okay? Why? Take our own power star. He's thin. Do you see any reason that he will suffer from a heart attack? No. Who is called Punit Rajkumar. We don't see a reason that why he should get heart attack at all. He is slim and fit, right? But the reason why he got was 2. One, he had a lot of visceral fat. Visceral fat is that fat will not exhibit its presence outside. there will be a lot of accumulation of such fat within the organs. That's called a visceral fat. Okay, and most of the actors also, like they take, to remain fit, they take a lot of steroids also, and that has cost his life, right? So as a replacement, what can you do? You can go for a healthy oil change. Healthy in the sense, you can always go for using canola oil, olive oil, right? Okay, in Kannada, what do we call gingerly oil or sesame oil? Ellenna. Okay, Ellenna is otherwise called what? Otherwise called what? Right? Traditionally, right, Ellenna is supposed to be the one. See, when our grandparents were there, they knew only one oil, that was Ellenna. Is a very good enna, actually speaking, right? So you can switch over to that type of healthy oils. Okay, canola oil is, because see, when you switch over to any type of oil, what is very important, I tell you, right? That oil should be rich in unsaturated fatty acids. That's all. Unsaturated. It should be rich in unsaturated fatty acids. Okay, that is what is more important. So that way you take olive oil, canola oil, right? All are very rich in omega 3, omega 6, and 5. Right? At the same time, you have to increase lot of fiber in your diet, because fiber will help good moment of food. Okay, even if you have put lot of cheese in your diet, what will happen? It will push that cheese very, very easily, right? Because a very important noted reason for the cause of colorectal cancer is slow movement in the intestines. Bowel means intestine. Okay, so when fat rich substances move very slowly in the intestine, they are converted into cancer causing substances. This is what science says, right? When you add a lot of fiber, what happens? They are just flushed easily. Okay, bowel movement will be very easy. Then eat lot of raw vegetables and fruits. Beyond all this, minimum of 3 to 4 liters of water every day. I'll tell you a secret here. If you drink lot of water, no, you will stay young. You will look young also. So please do it. Okay, right. Now let us come to some actuals. There was a study which was called a China study, where more than as a subject, more than 10,000 people were tested for this. All right. So out of the whole study, this is what they say. The science is clear. The results are unmistakable. Change your diet and dramatically reduce the risk of cancer, diabetes, heart disease, and obesity. This is what this study says. All right. These sterols are good ones. Okay, and these are all what present in most of our fruits, right? And many things which we use. I will cover them up. All right. So add lot of cereals, pulses to your diet. Add lot of cereals and pulses to your diet. Okay, and add fat rich substances in your food sparingly. Right? If you follow this food pyramid, then it is very, very easy for us to keep ourselves away from at least few types of cancer. Right? This is what science says again. Eat right, beat cancer. All right? We will see what are those foods. Right? 13 very important cancer fighting foods. Right? All are easily available, but we don't mind them at all. Mind them at all. Right? Let's see what are they. Don't we get this? Broccoli, kale, right? Cauliflowers, it's called cabbage family. right? They are highly rich in antioxidants. Apart from that, they have all these bioactives, right? Which in general has ability to fight cancer, right? Then garlics, onions, leeks, shallots, chives, right? Commonly available. Of course, these are some of these things we don't use at all, right? But there are multivarious options. I will show you. Soy proteins, soya, right? We just ignore this, right? Because they have very important substances called isoflavones, right? Turmeric. It has got curcuminoids. Curcuminoids, age-old references are there to show that they are very potent antioxidants, right? See, nowadays we have some remedy for certain viral infections. Let me choose a particular example, chickenpox. Most of us must have become a victim of chickenpox. Am I right? And what do in whenever someone gets a chickenpox? They'll put a lot of neem leaves in water, right? Then apart from that, they'll take a lot of neem leaves, along with that turmeric. That is the paste with which, that is the soap that day with which we are supposed to take bath. Okay, it had lot of meaning. Okay, why? Because of this curcumin and curcuminoids, which is present in turmeric, and azadirachtin is a bioactive substance which is present in neem. Green tea, right? How many of you have this habit? Again, it's a beauty secret, I tell you. You will remain young, you will look young. Okay, so why don't you people make it a part of your life? I mean, part of your routine, right? And this has lot of antioxidants, lot of good bioactives, lot of flavonoids, okay, polyphenols and all that, which can totally change your metabolism, right? I tell you, whenever you have fat, lipid rich substance, I mean fat rich food, have a cup of green tea. Okay, why? Because green tea can cut the absorption of fat into the body. It can, because see, only when the fat is getting absorbed, what happens? It is moving along your intestine. I just now told you, it is the fat which is present in the food, when it moves slowly along the intestine, can get eventually converted into a cancer causing substance, right? That can be very much avoided. Alright? Berries, because they have something called ellagic acid, right? They are very, very potent cancer fighters in general. All berries, you take strawberry, any berry, right? They are potent fighters, right? Right? Walnuts, flax seeds, sardines, okay, herrings, mackerel, wild salmon. This is wild salmon, herring, mackerel. And what are these? Which fish are this? Very common one. Matti, bangda. Yes, they are highly rich in omega-3. Right? See, when you people were small and at the same time thin, doctor must have advised you to take cod liver oil. They are taken from where? These fishes only. Right? Remember, not all tomatoes, baby tomatoes, they are rich in lycopenes. Okay, baby tomatoes, they are rich in lycopenes. That is why normally you see small tomatoes is usually put within a box, right? The reason is they are very expensive. Okay, they are a separate, different breed. They are not usual tomatoes. Okay, citrus fruits, because they have citrus liminoids, citrus flavonoids. All citrus fruits. You name this. You name a citrus fruit. Any given citrus fruits had this ability to fight cancer. Okay. Red wine in particular, because it has got a substance called what? Resveratrol. This resveratrol is actually, it goes into the red wine because of the color of this anthocyanin. Okay. Combined with the anthocyanin, when the grapes gets fermented, this bioactive is synthesized. Okay. Little. Huh? Okay. Because see, nowadays even doctors, cardiologists recommend red wine, even for elderly people who have heart problems, no, they recommend. Okay, these days red wine is even otherwise looked as a therapeutic substance by some doctors. Okay, then otherwise, yeah, forget the apple, okay, you all know, forget the apple. As it is, let me tell you, kiwi is a passion, right? But how many of us know that amla has 100 times better nutrition than kiwi? It's actually, you know, if you take Ayurveda, in Ayurveda there are only very few number of fruits which are looked in as fruits with extraordinary medicinal benefits. Among them, amla is one. It's a powerhouse. Amla is a powerhouse of medicinal benefits, but it is one of the cheaply looked at fruit by us always, right? It's a powerhouse of nutritional benefits, right? And of course, pomegranate, dark chocolates, right? Not any chocolate, dark chocolate, right? It should be above 50%. 50% and above, right? There are something even called as bitter chocolates, 70%, 80% chocolates are also there. They will literally be bitter, but anything bitter is good for health. Okay, right? Dark chocolates, soursop, right? You might have heard of it, but seen here and there. But remember, this is considered a wonder nowadays. Why? Because this has 10,000 times stronger action against cancer than even a leading chemotherapeutic treatment nowadays. You just saw what will be the side effect when someone is subjected to chemotherapy, right? That will be drastically different if someone has this. Why? Because the bioactives in this, they are called acetogenins. These acetogenins will kill only the cancerous cells. If you take a normal drugs which are used in chemotherapy, they will kill both a good cell and a bad cell. I mean a normal cell and a cancerous cell. But this bioactives present in this fruit will selectively kill only the cancerous cells. That too having 10,000 times stronger ability than normal drugs which are in market nowadays, right? Do you know colloquially it is called what? And basically, do you understand what fruit it is? Okay, you all know custard apple? This is cousin sister of custard apple. I mean, right? This is also a variety of custard apple, right? The very custard apple is called what? What do we call it as? Sitaphala. Right? Sitafal in Hindi we say, right? This is called, that is Sitafal. This is cousin sister. Sorry, cousin brother. Okay. This is called Lakshman Fal. Okay. So it is called a Lakshman Fal, or it is also called Mul Sita antara. Mul Sita. Okay, because it will, see, you are able to see a lot of thorny surface, no? It is also called Mul Sita, and farmers know this fruit only by the name Mul Sita. Okay, and this is one of the best remedy in the present day for most of the cancers. You take these seeds, or you take the fruit, you take the bark of this tree, take the leaf of the tree, everything has got enormous anti-cancerous property. Okay? Right, these are 3 books where I wanted to show you, right, which clearly states that how we can make a very clear choice, right. And you see the center one, Cancer and the New Biology of what? This book says how if you hydrate and make your body alkaline in nature, how can you keep yourself away from cancer? Just with water. Just with water, right? To your surprise, let me tell you, there is a therapy also called hydrotherapy, water therapy. Do you know that? For many ailments, there is a water therapy, right? And this forms the base of this, written by Thomas Cowan. And overcoming 5 important things which you have to follow, okay? 5 most powerful tools for fighting cancer. And if you see, out of 5, 3 are changing your food style. 3 are relevant to changing your food style. 1 is changing your lifestyle, and the 5th, trying to keep yourself away from carcinogenic substances, which we have seen so far. That is what those 5 are, okay? And otherwise, winning the war on cancer with the help of what? The epic journey towards a natural cure. So the nature has lot of substances given to us with which we can actually fight it very, very efficiently, right? But remember, cancer is curable. Just throw the myth away that if someone suffers from cancer, it is not curable. No, right? Except for practically, if you ask me, okay, from a practical point of view, unless and then if someone is suffering from later 3rd stage or 4th stage, right, they are diagnosed of cancer from any other stages before this, it is certainly curable. It is certainly curable. I showed you a few examples, yes, who have recovered from different, say, one has suffered from breast cancer, one has suffered from lung cancer, and so on. So there are people, we know people who have recovered from cancer also, who have fought it and come out successfully, right? So that is very much possible, and cancer is as well curable also. But what should we do? You learned lot of things today, right? There are at least few things which are very, very simple that you can follow. Very simple things which you can follow. Very simple things which you can educate others. Maybe you can tell your mom, you can tell your dad, you can tell your sister and brothers, right? And that is actually how we can work together in controlling this menace, a global menace, okay? We have to do this for what? Not only for our own future, right? But for those who have already lost their lives and for those who are about to lose their lives. Because we are not talking about singular numbers, we are talking about millions. In India itself, we are talking about millions, right? And one fine day, unfortunately, I don't want anyone from this hall to be an example here, right? So when that can happen is we have to always look into our environment, where we live, what we do is very important, right? How we take care of what our environment, our ecosystem and our surroundings, that's very, very important. Thank you so much. Any questions? It is to some extent seasonal, though, okay, but usually you can find it in most of the days you can find it in idar market alli sigutte. You can find it, yes. Only problem is it has got more calories. So ದೊಡ್ಡವರು ಕೊಡೋದು you have to be like so that is why nowadays there are a lot of decoctions. ಎಲೆ ಇದೆಯಲ್ಲ ಅದನ್ನ ಇಟ್ಕೊಂಡು ಅದರಲ್ಲೇ ಮಾಡ್ತಿದ್ದಾರೆ. Okay, there are capsules. The same thing, there are something called graviola capsules, right? You can take that, right? And just like eating any other fruit, you can eat this fruit also. It's a powerhouse of anti-cancerous substances, yes. Any other doubts? Any doubts there, Imran? No. Okay. Yeah. Ayurvedic treatment for? Yes, it is. And in most of the Ayurvedic treatments, if you see, whatever you saw now, that is what is again used. At least few of them are only used in Ayurvedic treatments. For every other cancer, there is treatment. Ayurvedic treatment is available. It is very much mentioned in our inscriptions. Okay. Use the mic.
Sir, compared to Ayurvedic or chemotherapy is better, sir, comparing both.
You have to see that with two different eyes. Why? Because Ayurveda is good, less side effects, but it will take time to cure. Chemotherapy will cure fast, but you have to bear the pain. Choice is yours. Hair matra alla, not that the matter of losing hair alone. Okay? That is what we see from outside, but internally there will be a lot of damage which will happen to our liver, our kidney, right? The very lifespan of our kidney and liver drastically reduces because of the chemotherapy. Any other questions? Okay, thank you so much.
All of us with this immense knowledge, and we also extend a special thanks from our new ISMS MBA students, sir, MBA batch, and I request Professor Shiv Shankar to hand over a small token of memento, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you all.